How you doing? This is Steve Ragan with CSO Online. I'm with Amanda Berlin, and we're at CircleCityCon. Been here all week long, and she's doing a talk tomorrow, right?
Yep.
The basics of the talk are, getting the most for the most bang for your buck, I guess would be a good way to put it. Give me a quick overview. What is your talk about?
So my talk is focused on the best practices that anybody can do in an organization when it comes to defensive security. So starting from Windows security, Linux security, best practices when it comes to passwords. From there on up to policy procedures, that kind of stuff.
So realistically, this is more about those of us who wear multiple hats.
Right.
So, little Timmy has been doing IT for years. Now little Timmy is also doing IT and security, but those two don't necessarily overlap.
No, not necessarily. And sometimes they might not have even been doing security for that long. IT for that long, maybe. Mm-hmm. They've been the help desk person. And they're like, hey, you've now inherited a security department.
So what leads to that situation? Why do companies have to do that?
Well, there's such an uprising in the importance of IT security, over the last few years, that companies are actually starting to realize that there's a benefit in IT security, but they don't necessarily have the budget for it, or they don't understand how much work goes into security. They're like, oh, it's just computer stuff. We can just have Bob from accounting handle it too.
Yeah, let Bob from accounting take over the server. It's all good.
Right.
Hope you set that NAS up correctly. We're joking about poor Bob in accounting, but for all we know, that could really happen. What are some basic roadblocks, like immediate problems that someone wearing a dual hat is going to have to face? What do they need to do to overcome that?
So poor design. A lot of networks just grew without any security planning involved whatsoever.
So you mean like network sprawl, or like we had a flat network at first, but now we've got like 50 iPads.
Yeah, anything from the networking aspect of it to authentication, endpoint encryption, for the most part, none of that's being done, when they're like, oh, well, we need servers, so we're just going to throw servers at a project, and they don't realize...
Behold the power of Blade.
Right. They don't realize how much security work should be designed into it and built in, but isn't, because they're focused more on, all right, this problem's fixed. They're not looking ahead to realize that
problems for tomorrow.
Yeah, your server for your EMR for this hospital's installed, but it's open to the internet.
Congratulations, you're on Showdown.
Right.
So now that we know it's a problem, what advice do you have to help them fix that?
Oh, there's so many things.
What are your favorites?
What are my favorites? Asset management.
Mm-hmm.
Asset management is something that is not completely technical. It's free, and nobody seems to be able to do it right.
Why is that?
It falls by the wayside. How are you going to be able to secure your network when you don't know what you have?
Okay. What are some others?
Trying to think. A lot of really common ones are like updates. A lot of people don't.
So like patch management, update management, things like that. So
getting off of Windows XP, not having configure on your network.
What about the person that ends up in this dual role, but they don't really have any control or authority to implement change?
So that's the thing too. So like a lot of people have issues with C-level buy-in. Mm-hmm. So they don't have the budget. They don't have any backing because nobody up high knows anything about security. There's so much stuff that you can do for free first. Like, I don't care what size company you are. There's a massive amount of stuff that you can do design-wise to help with your security that you don't need to spend money on the blinky boxes yet. You should do your due diligence and actually get the free stuff done first.
So, final thoughts. When somebody's in a dual role and they're not necessarily unsure, do you have any go get 'em champ type of thoughts or advice that you'd want them to know? I mean, it seems like a bleak situation, but is it really?
It can be. I mean, there's so many, either single role or even a team that they're doing so many things. They're the server, the admin, they're the switch admin, they are fixing desktop PCs, they're putting out fires constantly. Being able to prioritize your tasks and kind of understand where you want to be, in a year. Like our goal, I know we don't have the budget for a billion things, but our goal is to get items A, B, and C done by next year, and it'll get us that much closer to having a secure environment.
Is it fair then to say that your final advice would be just one task at a time?
Yeah.
Take that one step and keep moving, but
do something.
Yeah, don't get frozen by fear.
I mean,
overload.
You'll be complacent, and all you're doing all the time is putting out fires, and nothing will ever get better if you don't try and design around those fires and make them better.
Awesome. Thank you again for taking the time to talk to me.
No problem.
And I appreciate that. You have a good talk tomorrow, all right? Good luck.
Thank you.